Hello! This video is going to be how to go from mixed numbers to improper fractions and back again. So a mixed number is a whole number with a fraction. For example, if I have 2 pizzas and half a pizza left over, that's 2.5, which is a mixed number. An improper fraction is just another way of naming that same amount, but you account for each of the pieces. So when I have my mixed number of 2.5, I have to show my half. I have my whole, and a half. So I can call that 2.5, but I could also show how many halves I have, that I have 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, 4 halves, and 5 halves. So I can use a mixed number and call it 2.5, or an improper fraction and call it 5 halves. Now something that's improper is incorrect, and these are called improper fractions because the larger number is on top, and most fractions, proper fractions, correct fractions, the smaller number is on top because the smaller number shows the pieces you have and the larger number shows the total. Well, when you're looking at this, you're saying my total is 2, but I have 5. So that's why it's improper, because how can the total be 2 and you have more than that? Well, here's why. Because I have 3 pizzas cut into half-size pieces, and I have 5 of those halves. So that's a quick way of explaining mixed numbers and improper fractions. So now I'm going to show you the math, how you can go from a mixed number to an improper fraction and back again without relying on a picture. So I call it circle up. You draw yourself a nice circle. I'm doing it big for the video. We put a multiplication sign here and an addition sign here. This is just a way to remember it. If you don't need the circle, don't use it. But this helps students to remember that we multiply the whole number by the denominator, 2 times 2, and we add the numerator. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. That becomes our numerator, and our denominator stays the same. And we see we want 5 halves, we ended up with 5 halves. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and our denominator stays the same. So let's practice just a few of those before we learn how to do the other way. If I have 3 and 1, 6, circle up, put my symbols to remember. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19, and my denominator stays the same. I can't stress that enough. The denominator stays the same. If I started in 6s, I end in 6. If I start in 9s, I end in 9s. If I start in 7s, I end in 7s. My denominator stays the same. I can't say it enough. Let's do just a few more examples. Circle up, put your symbols. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. And our denominator stays the same. 5 and 7 ninths, circle up. 4 times 5 is 45, plus 7 is 52. And our denominator stays the same. So that's how we go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Now I'm going to show you how to go back again. You should recognize that when you have 19/6, what do we know that's also? Division. 19/6. Who goes in the castle? The king goes in the castle. The 19 goes in the castle. And the peasant, the bottom number, goes on the outside. So we've set up the division. you simply solve it. 6 goes into 1, none. 6 goes into 19, 3 times. 3 and 16 gives me 18. 19 minus 18 is 1. Now this number, your remainder, becomes your numerator. Your remainder becomes your numerator. And the denominator, what? Said it a lot of times. The denominator stays the same. I started with 6's. I end in 6's. And there's my 3/16 that I was looking for. I came right back to my 3/16. Let's move over here and look at this one. I'm looking for my answer to be 5 and 7/9, and I've got 52 out of 9. Set up my division. Who goes inside? The 52 goes inside. The 9 goes outside. 9 goes into 5 0 times. 9 goes into 52 5 times. 5 times 9 is 45. Continue your appropriate division. 7 is your remainder. What do we do with our remainder? Our remainder becomes our numerator or denominator? Our numerator, because our denominator stays the same. And there's the 5 and 7/9 I was looking for. Let's try this one. When I am given an improper fraction and I want to make it into a mixed number, what do? I divide. Who goes inside? The 14. The 3 goes on the outside. My king goes inside. My peasant stays on the outside. 3 goes into 1 0 times. 3 goes into 14 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. 14 minus 12 is 2. What do we do with our remainder? Our remainder becomes our numerator, and our denominator stays the same. I started with 14/3. I have to end with thirds, and there's the 4 and 2/3 I was looking for. So now you know how to go from an improper fraction to a mixed number, and from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Watch the video as many times as you need to until you've got this down. Good luck!